Welcome to another episode of In the Line of Wire. This is Jahara and I have with me today Shehzad Shahid, who is Global Head of Business Development at TPS. And we like TPS because TPS is an Ep31 winner. Hi Shehzad, how are you?
I am very good. Hi Jahan, how about you?
I'm fine, thank you.
And thank you very much for such a brief and precise introduction about TPS.
See, I got your designation right.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, first of all, let's talk about Ep31 and TPS's Iris product winning the Pasha Awards.
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
Perhaps it's difficult to put that feeling into words, but simply put, it was delightful. You see, winning Pasha Awards we were pretty happy at it, but knowing that we were strong in the financial category in Pakistan, so we were expecting that we'll be the winners. Because we are confident about the product and the customers that we have, and references and everything. But having experience of Ep31 earlier, Ep31 is a different market altogether. They've got a lot of other judges who have got their own sort of views and everything. And for a Pakistani company, you first have to perhaps create an impression that we are at least at par with the other companies that are
if not better,
at least at par there in those countries. And I must tell you that perhaps if I had gone there with the sort of presentation that I made in Pakistan, I would have lost it. The night we spent, just the day before, in fact I think 12 hours before that presentation, and sort of support that I got from people like you and others who were there.
Everybody. I think people who had Imran Zia had just got off the plane and he was half asleep. But everybody was, the feeling that I sort of was very proud of was everybody was there, all the participants, the judges, the Pasha CEC members, all there and one purpose, that we need to do our best. And that was what we were there for. We were supporting each other. The participants were supporting each other. It was just such a great feeling. I don't think it has happened ever before.
That is right, and you're so right. And in that environment, when everybody puts its very best, from the guidance, and let's say from the delivering it, and then listening to the to the advices that were given, I did some quick changes before I went to sleep. And
because it's different from a sales pitch,
that's
isn't
true.
it?
My sales pitch, generally when I go to a presentation, we generally go to people who are bankers, who know technology, who know the buzzwords.
Right.
So I realized when we did the rehearse that a lot of terms that we call buzzwords, or those important terms that people know it, they were French for all of people there. So making all those quick changes, and then understanding that it's a 20 minutes presentation with lots of things to cover. The suggestions that I got, they perhaps played a very critical role in making myself and the presentation that I had ready for that specific event for those 20 minutes. And
it put Iris in the best light for the award pitch.
That is right.
Because the product in itself was not changed. The product was still the same, but presenting it to a different customer, so to speak. And you really did change it, because when we looked at it after you had made all the changes, it was totally different from your original pitch.
That's so true. When the name was announced in that glamorous ceremony,
it was a surprise.
It was a surprise, and
not for me though. I knew.
And you're a pretty smart cookie. You kept yourself tight-lipped. I couldn't. We could figure out that some of us have been, achievers, but which products, nobody knew. And I think it was a delightful moment when, we won. And the big thing is that 3 awards came to Pakistan. First time a single award came to Pakistan, that was 3 wins.
3 out of 16.
3 out of 16.
And 145 products actually participated.
Yeah.
from the whole of the Asia Pacific. So we were really proud.
Yeah.
I think one of the judges actually had tears in his eyes when the winners were announced. He just, he couldn't hold back.
I think this was...
And I hope we'll do better every year.
Inshallah, I'm looking forward towards, I think this is going to be in Sydney this year or Australia?
In Melbourne, I think.
Melbourne,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. And let's see how things go. Inshallah, I'm pretty confident that because of the experience that we already have gained out of it, we should do better this time.
You should try and sell your products in the Far East, because Faraz Hoodboy was telling me that PickSense, actually when they went to Indonesia and Malaysia to target customers, what happened was that one of the considerations that helped, maybe only 1%, was the fact, oh, you're an Epicta winner. So that does help. I think it's something that none of us have actually thought about. We've just wanted to brand the industry as being successful and developing products that were cutting edge and all that. But the fact that it can actually help with a sale.
I am sure. You see, if you look at the Pacific market, I'm quite sure that that Epicta win will help to convince that this product has been evaluated and judged to be best among the others who were in that specific category. So I'm sure that this is worth a recce in that region.
Okay. Now tell us a little about TPS. When did it start? How has it grown? And where you are at now? What kind of markets you're selling your
Pakistan,
products?
if you look at TPS, is first thing. Let me tell you what's the scope of TPS. TPS is a company. We are a company who are into the cards and payments industry.
Okay.
Now, if you go back towards mid 90s or early 90s, banking generally meant that you have a bank account and a checkbook, and you have to go to your specific branch to get the money or to deposit funds,
right,
or to do other banking needs.
Right.
ATMs had started to be rolled out by the banks, but in a very limited quantity. The reasons primarily were networks. All right. The reason was that the banking application that the banks use were distributed. All right. So every branch has got its own banking application.
And they didn't talk to each other.
Right. So, and the branches generally closed down in the noon or evening. So thinking about having a 24-hour service where you can go to any ATM to actually take out funds from your account.
Was a dream.
It was a dream, and it was a pretty expensive thing to do.
Right.
Because certain big banks started to work on it, but it was a tough thing to do. So it was not a commodity. It was not really something for masses.
So TPS saw that
because Mohammad Sohail and Mubashir Rahim were into this specific market. They both were technical, as well as they had the business acumen to actually understand the need the market had,
which is extremely important.
And that passion to do something, because in that area everything used to come from outside, right? It was not thought that this sophisticated, sensitive financial application can come from even South Asia or these countries. It used to come from West, right? So they thought about breaking the myth and coming up with something that is fit for our market, right? That can fill those gaps, because infrastructure in the West, even mid 90s, early 90s, was totally different from what we have even now.
Yeah.
So what they did was they came up with this concept of developing an ATM switch that can support these distributed banking applications, and plugging a lot of other holes that were there in that infrastructure.
Right.
That gave sort of application in a cost-effective manner that banks started adopting it.
Right.
Now we started it in 1996, and it used to be earlier called transaction processing system.
Right.
Exactly
what we do.
What we do.
Yeah. Right.
Now as we basically moved on, this I would say we started to have a lot of more enhancements in the product and everything. Came up with a lot of other applications like ATM monitoring, card management application, and things of those sort.
Right.
With that growth in the market, TPS started growing.
Okay.
We started back in 1996 with no external funding. It was a bootstrap startup company. Serum Industry didn't really have a lot of money to start the company. It was a very modest start.
Right.
Just like sort of the people from the US say that the company was started in a garage. Exactly that sort of thing. Okay. It was not their own place.
We don't have garages, so
we don't have garages, so it was it was an area in some other place.
Right.
But if we look at the TPS position right now, in 12 to 13 years of its age, TPS has over 110 customers, and those customers are scattered across 29 countries at this point in time.
Wow.
And we are looking at entering into at least 2 more countries in the next couple of months, I would say.
Okay.
So growing from that point to where we are today, I would say it was the passion of the people who started it.
And the hard work.
And the hard work. And the other most important thing is the kind of, I would say, the legacy that was passed on to the next generation and the next generation, that has played the role. Because at TPS, we consider it as our own business. We work it with our employees and colleagues as our family.
Like a family.
And as our family members. So it is love, affection, thrill that help us to surpass the challenges that generally companies have. And as I speak today, if you go to the Middle East, which is a pretty developed region, the entire GCC from Dubai to Oman, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, everywhere, cash deposit is very popular there, right? You put the money in and make payments or deposit to accounts. Majority of the deposit machines by any bank are driven by our software.
Wow.
A lot of people perhaps do not know it.
Yeah.
All right, in Pakistan.
You're very modest, that's why. We need to talk about it a lot more.
In Pakistan alone, almost 80% of all transactions that are performed on the ATMs or on the debit card, they are processed by our switch. We have 24 banks that are using our switch for their alternate delivery channels, which basically means that electronic channels where the customer can come and remotely, access the bank account. Mm-hmm. So, our big matter of pride is the OneLink, which is the shared ATM network, a shared debit network. Basically is driven by our technology. So that is one network that is combining, I think right now 29 banks of Pakistan together and helping them do the transaction. So our dream was, number one, to integrate a bank so it becomes a single bank from a customer perspective. Right. Then our dream and connect, and then connect the bank so Pakistan becomes an integrated banking network.
Right.
At this point in time, wherever you go, if you're a customer of whichever bank, you can put your card in any ATM and you can access your cash.
Terrific.
So that is something that is not there in a lot of even developed countries.
Correct. Now tell me, during the recession, a lot of companies complain that business is down and we're facing a lot of challenges. Some companies even say we might have to close down. But TPS has looked at the recession as an opportunity, and you've looked at different markets that you hadn't looked at before. Tell us a little about that.
You see, recession is a reality now, right? So we are, good thing is that the people are not in the state of denial. That no, this is short-lived, or this is,
that is not impacting us.
For specific area or for specific industry.
No, it's impacting everybody.
When the consumer habits are changed, then everything changes. The bank lending patterns changes, the manufacturing concerns, manufacture, their manufacturing volumes change. And today, I mean, there was this great depression, that we faced, I think in 1939 or somewhere, just before the World War II. It happened, but at that point in time, the world was not so tightly interconnected.
That's right.
Now the economy is so tightly interconnected that whatever impact is basically faced in the US, the impact is there in perhaps every country that is linked together. Now, so the recession is true. The recession is real. So what we had started doing, not now in the age of recession, we started doing it some years ago. We started sowing seeds in certain lands which were thought of as barren lands.
Okay.
All right. So what happens is that certain barren lands are, you have to put more efforts to cultivate them. But then we were.
It's worth it in the end.
It's worth it, because what we thought earlier was that those fertile lands that we had been, having our revenue come from,
they're not going to last forever.
No, and secondly, those fertile lands are looked at by every company in the world.
Of course.
All right. So when we go to Dubai or Kuwait or Saudi market, it's not only TPS. You will have the world's biggest company in our domain, ACI and Postilion and other companies. So they were true challenges. But then we started looking after that. How long can we continue to generate revenue out of those markets? Because it's like if you have got 5 different oil wells, and the entire world wants to just consume that oil. Nobody is trying to actually go and
drill new wells.
Drill new wells.
Okay.
So what we went for was, we went towards Africa, because Africa, when the first thing comes to your mind is, those poor people, hungry, starved, civil wars and everything. But there's another face of Africa, and that face is rapidly growing region. Consumers and everything. Because I tell you what, in Times Magazine, it was reported that Africa is giving the same rate of return on investments that Asia used to give in 1980s. So if you look,
so it's growing very fast.
It is growing, and perhaps this is the only region at this point in time in the world that is giving you good returns. So the good thing is that we had been doing a lot of efforts there, and those efforts have paid off exactly
at the time when you needed it most.
when the world was actually was coming down. We have some recent successes in countries as far as Cameroon and Congo.
I think this must be a first for Pakistani companies. I know we were in Zambia and Ghana, but not in Cameroon and Congo.
If you look at the African map, people generally go for East Africa.
Right.
It's Kenya and Tanzania and, like you said, because they are developed, and you do hear about a lot of success stories coming from, especially in the mobile banking segment and payment segment. We started working on a lot of different segments in the North Africa, right, and towards West Africa, because West Africa is basically French speaking, so it's difficult market to tap.
Unless you know French.
Unless you know French, or
and also you're customizing your application in French.
So the good thing is that we basically found some good companies that could help us there, and we have started implementation certain applications at pretty big size banks in those countries, and it doesn't stop there. That market we are going to invest further on, and that is going to be if not the biggest market for us, but it's going to be perhaps one of the most critical and important markets in at least for at least the next 2 years.
Those markets, you think there is a lot of opportunity there?
Most certainly. The market is big, right? What you need to do is you need to know the climate wherever you go. So if you know the climate, if you know the economy, if you know how to actually make your way there, and and survive there, that's how it is. Perhaps can even help people, and that's what we believe. We have always believed that if, let's say, we are going, we are not shy to claim that we are a company coming from Pakistan.
Right.
All right, because
that's very good.
Look at our name. Our name is TPS Pakistan Private Limited, so we can hide it.
You can't hide it.
We can hide it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that if, let's say, companies look at it, and we can, if somebody wants to come to us, we can even help them in understanding the market, at least to the extent that we understand. But we think that it's a good market to tap.
Great. There are a lot of opportunities. A number of companies who've gone into Africa, not the areas where you have gone, have said that there is a lot of technology infrastructure needed, a lot of software needed, a lot of support, maintenance work that is required once the technology is implemented. So I think there are a lot of opportunities for our companies there.
That's true.
We shouldn't always look at just the US, because there are other markets.
You have to see, I mean, like they say that, don't put all the eggs in one basket.
Correct.
I mean, and especially, between Pakistan and the US, it's a, hot and cold relationship that we have always. I can tell you this much. I'm pretty confident in it, right? It may look like a tall claim. We are confident that the switch that we have, Iris or Phoenix, is going to compete with any switch India has ever produced, as of now. But the challenge is that we can't go to India. See, if we spend a lot of time just to get a visa and then going there and then, a lot of things, other things that can happen, we would rather like to go to places where we can get the visa easier, and, how easy or difficult it is to get the US visa, everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So, there are real challenges, but I'm sure that it depends on the company and your market. Don't focus on one company.
Yeah, we shouldn't neglect it, but yet we shouldn't focus totally all our efforts on one market.
That's right. This is what I'm saying.
Thanks a lot, Shehzad, for coming in and talking about TPS. I've been wanting to have you on the show for a long time, but your travel schedule is extremely tight.
May, thank you very, very much. I'm very, I feel proud to be, here and sharing certain achievements that we had over past few years.
Good. We'll talk to you again, and we wish you all the luck in the African continent.
and the rest of the region that we are waiting in. Okay. Thank you very, very much for inviting me. It was a wonderful, time. Thank you very much.
So that was Shehzad Shahid, Global Head of Business Development at TPS Pakistan Limited. And I think I learned quite a bit about the new markets that are opening up for Pakistani products. If any of you want to talk to him, contact me or contact Rabia, and we'll connect you with him. He can tell you more about how to get into the African market, how to take your products there. This is Jahan Ara signing off from In the Line of Wire.